Yeah.
All right, you guys are live.
You make it big. Make it big.
Hey
But not
guys,
too big,
the mic
because
is really
it-
sensitive, so you're really gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
Can the mic hear us?
Very loud.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
What'd you just say about me?
Very loud.
Okay, good. Edit and post. Ready? But let's go. I am in the way.
Do you want to stand?
No.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Jordan.
I'm Ethan.
We're gonna give you guys a talk on talks.
It's gonna blow your mind.
It's gonna be awesome. So we've all seen terrible presentations before: the walls of text, the terrible color composition, poor planning, and people who have obviously just started to look at their slides for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. We would like to pinpoint the things to do and not to do when constructing an excellent talk.
Our hope is by the end of this presentation, you will think more critically when giving and watching others' talks.
Because the curriculum asks so much of us and asks us to adhere to these, we have to adhere to these practices to make good presentations. Because if we don't, we end up with nonsense. And we want engaging PowerPoints.
Everyone in here has the potential to make great presentations and be a PowerPoint master.
First, a clarification. There is no one best way to make and build a presentation. These are just a collection of what we feel are some really cool and important practices.
Our talk will be dissected into 3 important cuts that we feel best represent the presentation process.
We'll talk about practicing and giving your presentation later in the talk. But first, we'd like to jump into building your talk.
Building a strong foundation, much like a baobab tree does, can help you present even the weakest ideas as critical talking points.
First, organize and write down all the things you want to cover in your presentation. This can be anything from, scrap sheets of paper to Post-it notes. Or you can keep an organized table in Google Docs or Sky One Box Drop Drive. Whatever.
Doing this can help you weed out inferior ideas and help you build a garden of talking points that you'll want to include.
These can really help get the ball rolling when you're just about to build your presentation.
At this point, you'll also want to consider who you're giving the presentation to.
Well, it's a well-known fact. For example, right? It's a well-known fact that hamsters are really, they have strong understanding of architectural design. But they're really only interested in packing algorithms, right? So you gotta keep in mind.
Keeping these things in mind can help you decide what you might want to keep or throw away.
It should also help you decide on terminology that you might want to include or not include, and what jargon you'll have to define in your talk.
Second, you'll want to build an organized outline.
An outline includes a mixed ordered list of an introduction, a body, and a conclusion.
Every point should be by itself a single, complete sentence. No exceptions.
They can help you organize the flow and the order of your talk.
And it can validate that you covered everything that you wanted to talk about and help you balance some of the different talking points you have.
If a single talking point takes up a significant part of your outline, it'll be easier to see in a Word document than it will anything else.
Before you finish, look for spots in your outline where you can include an anecdote or a story.
The introduction is the best place to bring up the topic and discuss, what you need to for the audience's attention. You can always bring up the topic in other places, but if the audience finds out when you start off that, you start off talking about nuclear waste and then that goes into meat substitutions, they're not going to be very happy about that.
No one really likes a plot twist in their presentation.
You see a lot of stories, for example, in TED Talks. You know, they have anecdotes and details that enrich the story and the facts that they're trying to convey.
Lastly, you'll want to review your outline.
Really, you just want to give it a read through, make sure it sounds good, and time yourself.
Sometimes saying a phrase out loud can help you catch awkward sentences.
This gives a couple of chances to find good synonyms. Just like with software, finding out something is wrong in your outline is going to be a lot easier than waiting until you put it in your presentation, and now it takes up 10 slides, and now you got to edit all those slides, and it's a mess. You don't want that.
Now that your outline is finished, on to the best and most important part, making the PowerPoint.
In the form of titles and presenter notes, you can give yourself a structure that that you made in your outline. Just translate right through.
You worked on it, you might as well use it.
Depending on how many slides you plan on building, you could choose to build depending on how many slides you plan on building, you can choose to put entire blocks of your outline into your slide, or just half phrases and whatnot.
We personally like to use lots of slides, but that's just us.
Next, you want to fill your PowerPoint with nice visual content.
Use images or bulleted talking points to give your audience an idea of what you'll be talking about.
You might want to refrain from long gifs, as they can, disrupt and distract your audience members, and they're not going to be as useful as something else.
The less text you use, the better.
If you want to include any definitions or diagrams, be sure that the text is large enough so that everyone can see it.
If the font or diagram is going to be too small to see from a distance, chop it up and make it a little bigger.
If you're not a fan of black and white presentations, the default themes are a good go-to for color composition. They're usually set up pretty nicely.
And please, 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 don't use cluttered images as a background.
If there's a large block of text that you want to include on the slide, don't do that.
Your slide should be an aid to your talking points, not a competition for your audience's attention.
With large blocks of text, audience members are just more like deer staring in the headlights and paralyzed by the predicament they're in. Unlike deer, who will get a hands-on experience of the source of the headlights, the information is just going to zoom right past your audience, and they're not going to. It goes right over them. It doesn't hit them.
On that note, you shouldn't be forcing your audience to read a large block of text, and neither should you.
Comics, while a useful and relevant anecdote, often fall into this category. Unless you plan on reading through the comic, don't include it in your slide.
For the same reasons, while videos offer a nice break in what can sometimes be a really, really long talk, they should be short and succinct.
Your video should also be appropriate for your audience. Spending time to explain characters and elements really break the flow of your presentation, and can exclude some audience members.
But what's happening? All right. Finally, make sure to include thank you and question slides.
Having these slides can act as a smooth transition towards the end of your presentation.
Your presentation should never abruptly end. No one likes to just short stop there.
After building a most excellent talk, you're ready for the most vital step of all: practice.
All issues with your presentation become visible after you've practiced it enough times.
Practicing a presentation even once can help you immensely.
That being said, if time allows, practice until you feel comfortable with your presentation.
If you're working on a team, make sure all your team members are there while going through a run-through.
On that note, every team member should speak and know who they speak after.
That way the presentation moves nicely and doesn't break awkwardly between speakers.
Having a PowerPoint clicker can help you nail down the flow of your presentation too, without having to worry about, breaking to change the slide.
If you don't have one, They're fantastic and invaluable purchase if you ever plan on giving a talk. So buy one.
They also usually come with nifty laser pointers, so.
Yeah.
If your presentation includes any demos of a product, make sure to practice at least an abbreviated version of that.
Make sure that you have a pre-made version in case your product falls apart during your demo.
Even capturing your program in a set of slides can help avoid technical issues just in the middle of your talk.
Be sure that your demo is also, time-wise fits into your talk.
Perhaps even more vital than practicing it, though, is our last point, giving it.
While the talk should speak for itself, there's a number of things that you can do to enhance the experience.
Being enthusiastic is one key to make a talk stick with an audience member.
The audience should only be and will only be as engaged as you are into the topic that you're presenting.
On that note, avoid making audience members uncomfortable by staring at them or signaling them out. You're giving the talk to everyone, not just your boss or a professor or a lethal enemy.
Be wary of asking your audience questions that they might not be prepared for.
You shouldn't be quizzing them, and you don't want people to feel like they need to answer a question just to have you move along in the talk.
If you do ask questions, take into account long or anecdotal answers that are really going to eat into the time that you have allotted.
When it comes for you to answer some of their questions, be sure to repeat the question so that everyone's on the same proverbial page. Oh, and you can help clarify some important terminology in case they're confused.
When you're giving a presentation, everyone in the audience has something else that they could be doing. Some device or distractor that can, catch their attention more than you can give it. You're at war.
You can win this war, though. Gain the focus of your audience and give a good, no, most excellent presentation. Thanks, you guys. And if you're confused, we'll take some questions.
This is our question slide.
We built it. We planned that.
It works. Yes.
So talk to us about how you actually came about making this talk.
So what we did
For making this stuff.
for this talk specifically, started up, we did literally what we said. We made a table of everything we thought that talks should include and shouldn't include.
Should we open up the outline?
I gotta open up the outline. Here, wait, I'll show you guys. This will be a visual
It'll be really
visual
cool.
asset.
Should I freeze it?
Nah, you don't need to freeze it.
Okay.
I don't have anything to hide. Yeah, I do.
I checked.
141 slides?
It's crazy.
141.
By the way, building presentations this way is super hard. It's worth it, but it's time
You be
consuming.
the judge whether it's worth it or not.
so. Here's what ours looks like.
Can you make it bigger?
By the way, if anyone wants a copy of our outline, you can ask. We'll give you a copy. So first we have the objective, right? This is us saying who we're giving the talk to.
To present to the students at the Society of Software Engineers the appropriate approaches to different presentations.
Originally, this was actually going to be split up into technical talks and whatnot, but we decided that was silly and all talks should have the same key points. We made a list, like we said, of everything we wanted to include and not include. And then we just started, right? And you'll see that things are highlighted in yellow here. That's because, shrink this a bit. For every line, we have a comment of the image we want to include. So literally, we wrote the talk, and we just sort of crossed out the points that we had finished, right? Just slowly went through it beginning to end. And then afterwards, we just highlighted every line and came up with an image.
What's the image for that? That's the baobab tree, right?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, it takes a really long time. Actually, we wrote the entire thing first, and then we started adding images into it. This was sort of a last minute thing too. That's why we were kind of late to just coming into here.
I noticed that all the comments are from Jesse.
Oh no, there's some from Ethan. That's just because I started at the beginning.
So the reason why there's a lot of comments in the beginning from Jesse are just
I started at the top, he went from the bottom.
and then we met at the middle until I gave up and started running out of image ideas. So
And literally, we're just selecting a single word and doing a Google search, which can be really terrifying if you search the wrong things. I looked up dissection, and I was like, nope, wrong word.
also, safe search is worth nothing. I turned safe search on. I still got the weirdest images, so I don't know why that's a thing because it's not that effective. I am scarred.
On that note, so it seems kind of silly to break up all these phrases. Literally, our PowerPoint. Can I just go back to it?
No, you can't. It's impossible. I deleted it. Oh my God.
Literally, our PowerPoint, as cheap as it might sound, is a copy and paste of our outline.
Yeah,
Every slide has what we're saying.
at the bottom. And if you practice it enough, or if you don't, you can fool the audience.
Into
Or maybe
thinking-
not fool them.
I don't know if you guys were fooled. Some people are fooled. Some people it doesn't matter. But literally, we just said everything that we read off the slides. It makes it look like you actually know what you're talking about. Then we just practiced it a bunch of times. Timed it, did it well. At least I think we did it well.
I don't know.
Were there any other questions?
Any other questions?
Shoot, because I'd love to talk about this. And maybe you guys just love to get free pizza.
I didn't get any free pizza. Is there any left?
Yo, I got you.
Oh my God, you're the best, Carson.
You guys should make an app that takes an outline and then Google searches random words and it creates this presentation.
See, every time we build these things, we always think we really need to build an app. One of these days, we'll actually do it. But that would be so useful, just to break phrases and just pull even just to pull the images in the SSE project, maybe.
You probably get some free readings.
Yeah, maybe not automatic Google search. Are there any other questions? I know people have to cut out. It's closing into 7.
We should use Bing images.
John.
How was that talk so excellent?
Magic.
Literally, we stayed up really, really late and then worked all the day on it.
You should have just made it as
It
This is actually make a really good PowerPoint.
just started? No.
And then gave it afterwards.
Well, if you guys have any other questions, it looks like it's closing into 7. I don't want to eat into people's class time.
This class at 7.
Oh.
People do.
Freshmen.
They go to like
Not
8.
us.
I mean, when they start like 6:30.
Is there any other big questions you guys want to ask us?
Or small ones.
Or small ones? It doesn't matter. No question is too small.
Only you.
There's no small questions. Only small people.
Yeah, only small people.
Like,
Yes,
is
man.
Jesse tall?
Jesse is. I don't know. if
I might
he's-
be wearing bigger shoes though. That's
Yeah,
the
he's
thing.
wearing like Mario shoes right now. I'm wearing tennis shoes.
Should we stand back to back?
I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's about even.
Okay.
It fluctuates.
It's about
Whoever has the dragons on that.
Yeah. Thank you guys again. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it and learned something.